Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding today's hearing. I also want to thank the witnesses for their testimony. But first, I'd like to recognize Mr. Dinkins, who has served us in a capacity for 25 years at the Customs Service, who might be looking forward to a rocking chair or whatever you do when you retire, but we want to recognize you for your service. Chairman said you're too young for a rocking chair, but we do thank you for your service. On the morning of February 22nd, 2014, drug trafficking boss and leader of the Sonora Cartel, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, was captured in Mazatlan, Mexico, a resort town of Mexico's Pacific coast. Guzman was captured from a Mexican who escaped from a Mexican prison by bribing prison officials, had been on the run since 2001. At the time of his arrest, Guzman was considered the most powerful drug trafficker in the world. Guzman's arrest was a historic, commendable joint effort between United States authorities, including the Drug Enforcement Administration and Immigration Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security investigation, and Mexican authorities. Guzman's arrest represents a significant victory in the Mexican drug war that has killed at least 70,000 people, including children. Ironically, his capture was completed without any gunfire. After Guzman's arrest, the question remains on where he will be prosecuted and if he will be extradited to the United States. A successful prosecution of Guzman in Mexico could show the world that under President Nito's leadership, the Mexican government is committed to taking down the cartel. However, Guzman is responsible for bringing drugs, including marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamines into the United States, and there are 7 indictments in 5 different states against him. While we await the Department of Justice decision whether or not to seek Guzman's extradition, we need to evaluate what Guzman's arrest means for the United States and its cooperation with Mexico to combat drug trafficking organization and other transnational crimes. Although the arrest of Guzman is encouraging, we must understand that the kingpin strategy of taking down top drug trafficking organizational leaders is not likely to address the cartel problem by itself. Instead, fundamental improvements to Mexico's law enforcement and judicial systems, economic reforms, and other systemic changes will be necessary. The United States has a vested interest in addressing drug trafficking organizations and their illicit activities in the United States and beyond our borders. While cartel-related violence has not occurred here in the way it has in Mexico, and our border communities remain quite safe, narcotics trafficking and associated criminal activities, including human trafficking and human smuggling, occurs in communities across the United States. Partnering with the Mexicans, where appropriate, to address the cartel can be an effective method of helping to curb cartel-related activities before it crosses our border. The Meridia Initiative has provided a means for U.S. support through equipment, training, and technical expertise to our Mexican partners. Within DHS, U.S. Customs Enforcement operates several initiatives aimed at working cooperatively with Mexico to combat the cartels, including operating a Border Enforcement Security Task Force, reference BEST, and vetted units within Mexico. U.S.-Mexico security cooperation is essential to addressing the cartels that affect both nations. It is my hope that this committee continues to find effective ways to support cooperation. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.